Today, this morning, we're going to look at something which is going to violate a great many customs or customary beliefs or customary attitudes, maybe, that you might have been inculcated with. I hope you know the word inculcated, inseminated artificially with these concepts. One of which is that you cannot get out of your body and still be alive. Alive is kind of a definition that we have to get into a little bit here, because it's true, you don't actually get out of the body alive, you get out of the body in spirit. Is the spirit alive? Yes, it is. Can you prove it? No, you can't. Why can't you? Because the instruments to measure spirit do not yet exist in human culture, but they're coming. They're coming. Within a matter of a very few years, there will be actually tools with which the spirit can be measured. Which will be interesting for a lot of folks, because then they'll have to say, well, gee, maybe I should be paying more attention to them, their sacred books. So one thing that you need to overcome immediately is the belief, the firm belief, that there's no way to get outside the human body. You're stuck in there. That is so untrue. But you have to accustom yourself to the experience, because if you don't, you're going to turn off to it right away the first time and not want to do it again. Because it is uncomfortable if you're not used to it. It's weird. It's weird because you get what's called a telescoping effect, and it's the kind of effect you would get if you went spaghetti in an event horizon. You don't have to. There's other ways to travel besides astral travel. Astral travel is local. You have to realize that also. It is very localized. If you want long-distance travel, interdimensional travel, that is very different, and it works very differently. You can look, but you can't touch interdimensionally, typically. In other words, in those particular cases also, one of the interesting things about it is the Hydra effect. You chop down one head, chop off one head, and 9 heads spring up where that head was. You did this 50, 60 times, you got yourself one hell of a creature, a beast, coming at you. And that's what most of the adversity is like that you're going to run into on this planet. But adversity be damned. We don't care about the adversity, because adversity means nothing, actually. It actually means nothing. In the long run, if you stay with your practice, you will win. In the long run. You won't win in the short run. Of course you won't win unless you're going to get chopped to smithereens in the short run. But in the long run, you will win. Now, if you're listening to my voice, you were there at the same time I was there. Let me explain what I have here. I have a holster, which is a Boise holster. It is my favorite holster now. Never had one before. This is a gun. Bad thing. But it's a gun, and it's not a real gun in the sense that it looks like one, it feels like one, it has exactly the same weight as a real gun, but it is blocked. It can't be fired. But it can be cocked, and in order to fire this single action, you have to pull back like that on the hammer. You can't pull back only halfway, because if you do, it locks the trigger. You have to pull all the way back, and then you can fire. All the way back, like this, with your thumb. I'll do it like this, you can see, like that. All the way back, like that. If you do it really wrong, what will happen is it'll go off in your holster, and you'll shoot your leg off, basically, is what it is. Now, the thing is that I shouldn't be able to actually pull this thing out of here in any kind of speed. This is, by the way, open and ready to fire, as you see. I shouldn't be able to do any of this kind of stuff because I didn't practice this or do this or anything. I haven't done any of this kind of stuff. By the way, I can also do it with the left hand and the right hand. I can do it with both at the same time. I can get this thing out as quickly, like lightning, ready to fire. Yet, I don't have any lifetime experience at this. So, how do you explain it? I can explain it to you very simply. In 1878, I lost my life to one of these things. So the big thing about the grapple effect is that you're being pulled forward. Now this exactly mimics what's happening in the ashram. Think about it. Your avatar, your bodhisattva, your higher self, your future life is pulling you toward itself. Because you have latched onto it, you have grappled onto that through the ashram, you have grappled onto that. Now you need help. So the gurus are there, the teachers are there for your help, for you, so that you can get help, you can get assistance in maintaining yourself as you go through this process. But you're being pulled along. You're not traveling, you're not walking, you're being pulled along. And the more you relax, the more likely the journey, the thrill of the journey will get through to you. So that's what I'm trying to get across with this particular exercise. I gave Claude the particulars of what I wanted to have happen. He's come up with some magnificent solutions. Here are some of the things I'd like to see you do. One of the things that my friend did years ago was to take. Let me show those things, because these are the targets that are used. This is your beginning targets, I think.
Yeah, but I should put it in order.
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
These are targets, and they come to you they're sealed in plastic. You know, and very, very, very thick stuff. All right. Yeah. So one of the things that there's one kind of grappling which I call snooting. It is called snooting, actually. Essentially, when you come down scale into a life, you snoot down into it. Pretty much the same way. You latch on to a life, and it draws you down into it. Now, the fact that you happen to do that automatically, not consciously, not deliberately, that's what causes you to be on the wheel of karma. And it is correct to say that your karma is your karma, but it is also correct to say that you don't have to be on the wheel. Now, the only way you can be on the wheel is to want something from the wheel. In other words, if you grab for the brass ring, you have to be on the carousel. You got to be on the ride. So if you want that brass ring, you're going to get on the carousel and ride round and round and round, and the horses keep grabbing for that ring. What does that ring give you? The only thing it gives you is a free ride, which is already what you have because you're already on the carousel of life for free, in a sense. You actually have to pay to get off. I used that gun to show you something, not to show you about guns, but to show you that in order for me to do fast draw, I don't have to learn fast draw or anything else. You can see how many things I can do. I don't know really any of those things. What I have is I have an avatar somewhere who knows all that. And all I do is I just grapple, I snoot actually, that avatar and link to that avatar. And then the avatar, instantaneously I have all of those abilities, all of those skills, because I have gotten them elsewhere. And I simply bring them back to myself by this grappling effect. the snoot effect. So the idea here is that this grappling effect is terrific for a variety of spiritual effects of the spirit. Keep in mind that none of these toys is actually just designed to be entertaining. It's not an entertainment at all. These are useful tools in the hands of a master. These tools can be used to literally create a universe and then to debug, yes, debug the universe, and then to correct the universe and send it through its refresh. These are all things that need to be consciously applied. They don't just happen. The creation is a touch of a button. What comes out flowers out from that instantaneously. Instantaneously. Even instantaneously, it takes at least 45 billion of your years for the universe to finally flower out. It's got about 30 billion years to go before it finally reaches that outer limit that defines its shape. Yes, it will have a shape at the end. They all do. And keep in mind that your only hope for higher life, for higher consciousness, is to be worthy of it. And to be worthy of it means to actually agree to and be able to apply the tools of higher consciousness in the perfection of the universe, to alleviate the suffering of all beings everywhere. There's only one way to do that, and that's to raise the consciousness of the entire thing. Because brutes are not going to listen to reason. You understand that? Do you dig that? Let me appeal to your higher self. Let me appeal to your spiritual side. What? I'm going to knock your head. Well, you can't reason with that. What you can do, however, is elevate the consciousness. How? Directly? No. Because all you're going to meet is resistance. Brute is brute. It's going to stay brute. A hell being is a hell being. They're going to stay hell being. But you can raise the vibration. You can raise that consciousness, that vibration, just a little bit. But you can't do it as you are. You need to learn how. And that is that you're going on a scale from clumsy to elegance. Clumsy to elegant, actually. But clumsiness to elegance. And you're going to start out clumsy, but you're going to want to get elegant fairly soon. It's important that you do, that you develop a style of travel. When you get into the God engine and you start grappling in there, you're going to need style, timing, and really a super elegance of turn and just how you handle yourself.
Right click, zoom in.
Basically, what you're going to do is go limp. It's essentially what you do when you're flying an airplane across a sim border. As soon as your plane starts to dip down below the ground level or whatever it happens to do, or fly, you know, get wacky, lay off. Don't touch the controls. Leave them alone. Resist the urge to do something. You go passive. Totally passive. And by the way, if you do this too close, if you do like from 5 meters or 6 meters, it isn't going to work the same way. Don't expect it to work the same way. You need a good distance to make this actually function and to get the sensation, which is what you're after. Feel the sensation of that travel. If you can't feel it, you're not doing it. You're not there. You gotta feel it. Make yourself feel it. Let yourself feel it. It's a sensation. A bodily sensation actually will happen to you. A whooshing kind of thing will happen to you if you just let it happen. And that's what you're after. And that will tell you more about how to astral travel than anything else. So go for that. Keep going.
Now I'm going to press an arrow key to show you what happens, as EJ mentioned earlier. I just pressed an arrow key, and bam, I'm back.
In body.
In body, in character. So I'm going to zoom in. I zoom in, press arrow key.
As soon as you take action, well, I'll get on my mic here. Okay, here's the deal. This is true in Second Life. It's true in real life. It's true in higher life. It's true anywhere along the line. As soon as you take control and you do something, taking control is one thing. That's all right. But as soon as you actually take an action of some kind, you will snap there. You will snap back to your body. Instantly snap back to your body, and that's where you'll be. So then you have to get out again. It's all over again. Well, first one. All right, go ahead.
Okay, so zoom in, and I'm not clicking on my arrow keys. I'm using the camera controls. Right click, zoom in.
Zooming in, you come in onto the thing like this, and you go here where I'm pointing, and when you click on this thing here, right there, he's going to click on it. Watch. Look what happens. You turn around, and then you can see the other target. I like to put my finger there because they can't see
this little goober, this little camera controls.
They can't.
If I click on the top of the camera controls, and then I can drag it and put it anywhere I want. So I click on this top. Maybe you can click anywhere. Actually, it looks like you can click anywhere. So if I click on the camera controls, I use the top because
that's the best.
That's the best. I put it down here so that it's not intruding in my visual area.
But it's still available.
And it's still very much available. And if you don't have your camera controls up, click on the camera control button down at the bottom of your screen. I clicked on it, it's gone. Now here's the camera controls, and click on it. Now it's slightly green and it looks depressed. I don't mean sad, I mean pushed in. And now the camera controls are back. So here's the round arrows, which are the orbits, and then here's this square with arrows, and that's the straight. So I'm going to zoom in. Now watch, I'm going to use these square arrows, and you'll see it's a different movement. See, I just go back and forth. And then if I use the orbit, which is in the round on the left side, I go around. I find the target, in this case it's this part of the screen, zoom in, I'm going to use the round orbit arrows, spin around so I can see the other target, right click on the target and select zoom in. You can see that it's in green, and I just zoom in. Again,